Sony has been developing file and server-based workflows since the 1990s. We launched Media Backbone in 2010. Media Backbone is Sony's approach to file-based workflows. It's not just a single product or solution, but it's an entire suite of solutions that use the best of Sony hardware and software, along with third-party hardware and software to create best-of-breed solutions. The Media Backbone production system is based on our rich history in systems such as Newsbase, Sonapse, XD News. It's also known as MBPS, and it provides a complete solution from ingest through edit, playout, distribution, and archive. Sony has successfully installed Media Backbone systems at news and sports broadcasters, education, and government institutions. Media Backbone production system has several key advantages, including powerful and integrated content and workflow management, very flexible and scalable system design, and a variety of workflow options that help us best suit customers' needs. We also have the ability to integrate with third-party nonlinear editors, play-to-air servers, newsroom computers, video routers, and archive systems. XPRE-NS is the editing suite which is native to Media Backbone production system, and it includes high-resolution craft, field, and proxy editors. One of the great advantages of XPRE-NS is that it integrates tightly with the entire system, so the editor is able to have seamless access to the media asset management system, the search capabilities, the play-to-air server, the newsroom computer system, and all of the aspects throughout the entire system without leaving their application. XPRE-NS includes true proxy editing. A lot of people, when they talk about proxy editors, are thinking only of simple cuts editing or some very basic effects. With XPRE-NS, even though the proxy editor is accessing the low-resolution proxy video, the editor can actually do all of the voiceovers, the effects, pretty much all of the operations they could do if they were sitting on a craft high-resolution editor, but it's all done in the proxy space, so it's much more efficient in terms of the network and bandwidth usage, and also the PC that it runs on doesn't have to be as powerful or as highly spec'd. Once the editor is finished doing all of their editing based on those low-resolution proxies, they simply associate their finished timeline with the slot in the rundown, and our background conform engines transparently take all the matching high-resolution material, add whatever voiceovers and effects the person did on the proxy editor, and send a high-resolution, high-quality finished piece to the play-to-air server or other destination. Media Backbone also has a variety of different web interfaces which enable customers to have great remote workflows. Although XPRE-NS is the native craft editor for the system, we're able to integrate with a variety of other third-party nonlinear editors, including Final Cut Pro and Canopus Edius. We focus on fast time to air, including making material quickly available throughout the entire operation as soon as it comes into the system, allowing people to edit while content is still being ingested, allowing multiple operators to be playing material out while it's still being conformed by those background conform engines. These are just a few of the features that have made Media Backbone production system a success in the United States and worldwide. One of the biggest challenges in this project was the extremely tight timeline. Not only did we have a tight timeline, but there was a very specific week during the baseball all-star break that the switchover had to occur because of New England Sports Network's business and operational concerns. We would not have been able to be successful if it wasn't for the great teams on both the New England Sports Network side and also on the Sony side, and the ability of both of those teams to coordinate so closely together and work carefully together to make sure that the installation, the training, the rehearsals, the switchover were all carefully planned and well executed. Keeping the operations going at New England Sports Network as the transition was made was another challenge that we faced. Once again, via tight coordination between the Sony team and the New England Sports Network team, we were able to work together to come up with a transition plan that allowed them to have their ongoing business with their existing system while preparing for the switchover and then have a very smooth transition for that switchover. Another challenge that we had at New England Sports Network was integrating with their existing archive system. Not only was there the challenge of integrating with the hardware and software side of things, but also how to migrate their large library of sports footage to the new system. In addition to just moving the files over, we wanted to find a way to allow the operators to easily add rich metadata to their large library. New England Sports Network has fantastic videos of Boston sporting events going back for decades, and we want to make sure that as they brought that content into our media backbone production system, we could add appropriate metadata to it to allow their operators to more easily find that content and better reuse that content when it was in our system. We did a little bit of software development, some custom software development to aid in this goal. New England Sports Network decided to use our XBNS edit system because of the great editing capabilities and wonderful workflow integration that it enabled them to have. Their promotions department had been using Final Cut Pro for years, and there were some members in their promotions department who wanted to continue using Final Cut Pro, which really wasn't a problem for our system since we are able to integrate with third-party NLEs. So the end result was a system where we have both XBNS as their main editor and Final Cut Pro for their promotions department, so all sides are happy. There were some custom features that we developed for New England Sports Network, including adding some additional codec support to deal with some of their existing content, and working on ways to make metadata logging for their sports applications easier for their operators to use. New England Sports Network chose to use ENPS as their newsroom computer system, and we're now closely working with the members at ENPS to make sure that we have a training, an integration, and switchover plan in place that will allow the team at NESN to have a seamless transition to this new newsroom computer system. I think the fact that we had skilled teams both on the Sony side and the New England Sports Network side, which worked very closely together, led to the success of the project. Again, it was a very tight timeline, a very specific week during All-Star breaks that we had to do the switchover, and the great teamwork on both sides enabled us to successfully accomplish that task, and we were actually a day ahead of schedule on the switchover. Now let's hear what the team at New England Sports Network has to say about the project.
NESN has consistently been one of the top-rated regional sports networks in the country with our award-winning Boston Red Sox and Boston Bruins programming. We are distributed to over 4 million homes in the New England region, as well as over 4.4 million homes nationally with our NESN National channel. Based upon annual requests for additional capital to expand on our existing file-based workflow, we decided to take a look internally and evaluate our existing workflow and come up with a 5-year plan as to whether or not we want to continue with it or whether we want to replace it. So we developed a team that was basically a member from each department within the company, created a survey, had anybody that touched the file-based workflow system take this survey to identify the pain points within the system. We then weighted these pain points to come up with a matrix in order to evaluate other systems. Developed an RFP, sent it out to manufacturers. We evaluated 10 different file-based workflow systems. We went on site visits, split the group up. Some people went on site visits. Other members of management went to NAB. We discussed our findings, went through several iterations of quotes, eliminated manufacturers along the way, and narrowed down our search to roughly 4 manufacturers. Had a second and third round of quotes. Went through these quotes, and eventually determined through basically customer feedback, open IT infrastructure, and support that MBPS was the way to go.
One of our biggest issues here at NESN was media assets with little or no metadata attached to it. Once Sony came on board, they provided us a system for logging and entering metadata that made all of our content much more searchable and easy to access. Our producers and editors all felt much more at ease knowing that they had instant access to the content they needed in a very fast and efficient manner.
I think really what impressed me the most was the open IT infrastructure. Certainly the logging was very impressive, which was one of the components missing here at NESN. The timeline was tight on the transition. We had a small window during the baseball All-Star break in order to get this done. The Sony engineering group, along with our internal NESN engineering group, worked seamlessly together, and we were able to hit that deadline, and actually we beat the deadline by a day. The transition was absolutely seamless, and the training aspect of it, I believe we trained over 40 people on different aspects of the entire system simultaneously, so the project was managed very well.
Our system administrators have found the system to be very friendly in setting up user accounts and applying user rules for editors, for ingest technicians, and also for playback technicians. What we really liked about the Sony MBPS system was the ability to search for media assets, and also the ability to attach really robust metadata to all those assets. We also liked the editor. The editor brought us features that we never thought we would be able to use, but we do use them on an everyday basis now. Our editors have told us that the Sony MBPS system has provided very fast turnaround of all their features and all the clips that they edit on a nightly basis. There was a lot of trepidation among our staff once we went live with the Sony system, and they were all waiting for reboots and reconfigurations and other things that are inherent to new technology coming into a facility. But that never happened. The system was stable, and we found that it was very easy to use, and they knew when they walked in for their shift that the system was always up and ready to go.
Our sports newscast show versus a generic newscast from a call letter station. We're editing small packages, quickly, close to air changes, and it's all working well with MBPS. From a sports network standpoint, the file sizes that we ingest, aren't 10-minute packages. They're 4-hour baseball games or 3-hour hockey games, and we're ingesting multiple games simultaneously with no problem. MBPS has definitely improved the quality of our on-air broadcast. We're able to store more content online because of the smaller file size, and we are also able to find that content due to the additional logging capabilities that it has provided us. We're able to edit material and push to play out much quicker than our previous system. I would definitely recommend MBPS to others, and the reason why is basically reliability. We haven't had any issues since July 12th that we've went live with the system. It's performed exceptionally well. It has cut down on engineering calls, troubleshooting, so we are very satisfied with the system.
The Sony MBPS system brought us speed and efficiencies and access to all our media assets in an efficient manner. We looked at other vendors, and they really didn't come close to what Sony could provide us. Definitely, we would recommend the Sony MBPS to any other news or regional sports network out there. The system provides an end-to-end solution and turns around media content to air in a fast and efficient manner.
I think Media Backbone's flexibility and scalability, along with the system's capability to integrate with a variety of third-party software and hardware products, combined with the skilled teams on both the Sony side and the New England Sports Network side, led to another successful project for both us and the customer.